Hi, welcome to our Earth Week program. We're going to start with a really simple seed activity. So we're going to plant some seeds, let them grow, and then we can replant them in our gardens later on. So for this activity, you're going to need something to plant the seeds in. So I've got eggshells, or egg cartons, sorry, but you can also use eggshells if you really carefully cut the top off them after you use them. Or you can even take planters from last year that plants came in. You're going to need some dirt and something, whether it be a spoon or a shovel, to put the dirt into your chosen cup. Some seeds. I've got sunflower seeds, but you can use any type of flower, vegetable, fruit, and depending on if you choose more than one type of seed, you'll want some sticks so that you can write down what you have planted and put them in. That way you know exactly what you've got growing. And lastly, you're going to need some water to water your seeds when they're ready. So we're going to start here. Going to put my dirt into my egg carton here. Just do a spoonful in each to fill them up. And your wooden stick is actually going to be helpful because it'll help make the holes that you're going to put the seeds in. Alright, so we've got our dirt in there. So we're going to use this to dig a little hole in the middle. And that is where you can put a couple seeds in each. This is helpful for any of the plants that need to be started indoors before going directly outside. So a lot of people like to start their tomatoes inside or their pepper plants. So you can do that with any of those. Or if you just want some nice flowers. Okay, so I've got all 6 filled with seeds there, so I'm just going to fill in the holes. Pat them down a little bit. Might be able to add a little bit more dirt as well. Add a little bit more dirt to them here, because when I add water, it'll take a little bit for the water to start absorbing into the soil, but then it will compact the soil down as well. Okay, so there we go. We've got our seeds there, all planted, and I've just got a little water bottle here, and I'm just going to put some water in each of them. You're going to want to make sure you put them, your seeds, in a nice sunny window. They are going to want to get a lot of sunlight to start germination, and you're also going to want to make sure that you water them regularly. You don't want the dirt to get dry between waterings because that might kill the seeds. So there we go, we've got 6, so hopefully we'll get some nice sunflower seeds shortly. Now that you've planted your sunflower seeds and are waiting for them to grow, here is a book that would be a great thing to read. Let's Get Gardening, 30 Easy Gardening Projects for Children. It has how to plant and grow sunflowers, vegetables, carrots, potatoes, pumpkins, lettuce, all sorts of different things, as well as how to collect the seeds at the end so that you can reuse them next year. It also has a little section on plants that are good for bees, for butterflies, and other projects that you can do in your garden.
So we thought a great idea to collect some water to water our seeds that we just planted would be to make our own homemade rain gauge. So meteorologists have fancy rain gauges that they use to measure precipitation, rain, and snow. But you can make a very simple one for yourself at home by just digging into your recycle box for a plastic bottle. The next little part is going to require the help of an adult, a mom or a dad or an aunt or an uncle or a grandma or a grandpa, because you're going to use a sharp knife. And we don't want anybody to get hurt. So we're going to cut the top of our bottle. I'm going to start with this. And this one's a thick one. And then we're going to cut around. And once it gets going, there we go. I'm going to shove that down. I'm going to finish the rest of it just with a pair of scissors to cut it out. And then once that's done, we're going to put that upside down. It's not even going to go anywhere, but we can put a little bit of tape just to hold it in place. So when you put it outside, the rain's going to come in there and collect all the water. What we're going to do is, if you want to measure how much rain falls, and you can compare weeks or you can compare months, you can do your own little science experiments at home. Because the bottom of the bottle isn't equal, we're going to fill up until that little spot because of those little legs of the bottle. So we're going to use a little bit of water to pour in there just to get it started. That also gives it a little bit of weight when you put it outside. And then we're going to put a mark there, and we're going to roughly measure . So we'll just do a couple here. We're going to do 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters, but you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do millimeters if you want. That's what meteorologists would want to do. And then, very simple, you've got yourself a homemade rain gauge. So we've brought our rain gauge outside, and we're going to put it in an area that's not out in the middle of nowhere because we don't want the wind to blow it over, but we also don't want it under a tree or up against the house. And we're going to put some rocks around it to hold it in place. And now we wait for the rain.
Plastic is a hot topic right now, so we've got this new book, Kids vs. Plastic by National Geographic Kids. It's a really great one because it goes through how to reuse as much as you can, such as what we just did with the rain gauge. You can also recycle rather than put stuff in the garbage if it's recyclable. It has a section on waste warriors, so people who's made it their mission in life to try and clean up the planet as much as possible of plastics, and how to determine what around you is stuff that you could find other uses for, or how to get rid of the plastics that keep being purchased.
Speaking of rain, we're going to do an experiment right now to explain why it rains. So the simple explanation is that when there's so much water or moisture in the clouds, it gets so heavy that the clouds simply can't hold that water anymore, and then it turns into rain. It falls down. We've got a jar here. I've got 3/4 of the way filled with water, and our clouds today are going to be shaving cream. So we're going to put a little bit of clouds on top of the air. Whoops. And now we need rain. So I've got a cup full of water. We're going to add some blue food coloring so that it shows up really clearly that that's what our rain is. Make sure you protect your table. We're going to stir that up so it's nice and blue. And then we're going to fill. You can use like a food dropper. We've got this little plastic syringe that we're going to use. And we're going to fill our cloud with water and see how much water it can. Oh, it's already starting. So we filled our clouds with water, and the water is getting heavy, and you can see that it's starting to rain already. Here comes the rain. We'll do a few more. And that's a basic explanation as to why our clouds, when they go, there it is, when they get heavy with rain, with water, it turns into rain. And that's rain in a jar.
So our next craft is going to be using stuff that we find outside. So for this, you'll need some sort of either colored paper or cardboard if you want something a little bit more sturdy. And then you get to go outside with the bag and find whatever you want. If there's flowers on the ground, feel free to grab some flowers or flower petals. There's not a lot of green right now, so I've just got like a little branch, some fall leaves, pine cones, walnuts, corn husks, and some evergreen pines. A couple other items that you will need are glue. So we've got tacky glue. For the larger items, such as the large pine cones or the walnuts, you might need a hot glue gun, so that'll require an adult's help, and something to do the glue in case we get a little bit too much. And then if you want more color added, we can always have some sort of markers, pencil crayons, or crayons. All right, so we're gonna get started here. I'm gonna use my glue. I'm gonna have to figure out where we want things. Put this one over here. Glue stick here. So you're just gonna glue stuff on wherever you kind of want it, to make some sort of picture. And it doesn't matter where you put stuff because it's going to be your own creation and will look great however you decide to do it. I'm just going to put this one right on the leaf here. The leaf. Some of the stuff you might be able to put right on the item from outside so that you get it exactly where you want it. I'm going to try and glue this pine cone on. It might need hot glue, but we will see. Then I'm going to do a line here at the bottom. I'm just going to do a little line because we're not going to need a lot of glue. For our pine needles, I'm going to use that as my grass. Stick into my fingers. Alright, and then I'm going to grab my hot glue gun just to put on a walnut here. So you can add as much or as little as you want, and when you're done, you're going to have some artwork. You'll have to obviously let it dry before putting it up. Another variation on this craft is you can take your cardboard here as well and draw some sort of vase or container, and then with Mom and Dad's help, using scissors, punch holes, and then we can grab flowers. Got some pretty flowers over here. You can grab flowers and put them through the holes. I'm just going to do a couple here so that you can see what to do. But with a mix of flowers, you'll end up with beautiful flowers on a vase, and that's just using everything from outside. The last book I want to share with you today is How to Make a Better World. This one here is great for kids. It covers how you can help, how important that it is for you to do something, even if you think you're young and not able to really make a difference. It covers a whole section here just on the environment, so climate change, conservation, global warming, green living, animal activism, things that are really important to help make the world better. So I hope you go out, you do some of our activities, you go and clean up some garbage around the neighborhood, and anything that'll help the planet